Hey there, this is R.A. Manard, Mitzvah, for Monks of the Way. This is the November 27th talk, and it's a little late. The headset had an issue last week. Don't believe it was charged enough, so I'm going to go ahead and redo it. It's about redemption and forgiveness, and it's a pretty good topic. And they go together, and I will talk about that. Let's start with redemption. Let's just jump right in. Redemption. It means to regain something or to gain something in the first place. And the most iconic redemption sutta I can think of off the top of my head here, I mentioned it last time, is the regretful bandit. And you see there's this killer, and he's an artist at killing, and he wears a garland of fingers around his neck. And people are afraid of him. Even the king of the area is afraid of him and afraid that he's not going to be able to apprehend him. And, of course, he has hundreds of soldiers at his disposal. So this man is very dangerous. This is a real killer. And Buddha decides to go out alone on this road where he knows full well that this finger garland man is. And he goes out there, and the monk sees him, and he decides to jump him. Well, he jumps him and grabs him, and he can't stop him. Buddha just keeps right on walking, doesn't skip a single beat. And he just can't believe this. And Buddha tells him, and he says, stop, 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 because he just can't stop him. This man that's fighting and killing all the time can't stop Buddha. And Buddha says, I'm standing up. Stand up. He says, he tells the guy to stand up. And he's like, well, what do you mean? And he's like, well, I'm standing up with all living things. You're not. I want you to do it too. And he wants to know about this, and he tells him that the way he's living, it's like a sword, a weapon on the edge of a great abyss. And there's redemption from there. And there's forgiveness that you can have. Now, later in the story, towards the end, he's getting dirt clods thrown at him, even rocks, and he's bleeding, his robe's torn, and Buddha's telling him, stand up, holy man. He says, you're suffering today the effects of something that you've done in the past. You're cleaning up your karma, and you would suffer damnation and suffering for hundreds, maybe thousands of years, but you're cleaning it up, and it can't follow you past death once you clean it up. And so there's redemption in that story, that the most vicious, practiced artist of killing can find redemption. And certainly I think most of you are not of that category. You're not monsters that are bent on killing. And if that kind of person can find redemption, well, you can too. Anybody can. So I want to bring forgiveness into this now too, because like I said, they go together. Now there's forgiving someone else and there's forgiving yourself. And when Buddha says that the killer is like a weapon on the edge of an abyss, well, I tell you that if you can't forgive, then it's like not being able to walk away from that same abyss. And you might think, well, is that forgiveness for somebody else, or is that for myself? Once again, they go together. So many of these things go together, and we don't really look at it that way. We don't frame it that way. But that's why these teachings are so important. They help us look to these different ways of framing things. And it can make a huge difference in your whole life, just understanding one single teaching. Of course, I always say that you should start with the Delusion Sutta, the Lion's Roar, the Four Truths, these things to start yourself going. But any of these major teachings are going to make a difference in your life. Forgiveness. Now, people generally find it easier to forgive somebody else than themselves. So maybe you start there. Maybe you don't. Maybe you do both. Maybe you start with yourself. I'm just saying. A lot of people find it easier to forgive somebody else. And what's helped me personally is the realization that we're all doing the best we can. And that's the best a person knows how. A vindictive, a hurtful person, a killer. That's the best they know how. If they knew better, they'd be doing it. If you knew better, you'd be doing it. But you're not, and they're not. You're where you are, they are where they are. And this outward venting, this wanting, also this other one, that's enough, Duchess. Yeah, the dog wants to get on it. This outward venting and also this wanting other people to share your suffering, it's because you have suffering. It's bleeding out. And that's where it's coming from. It helps me to understand that these people suffer. And then another thing that helps me is that I am who I am now, and you are, and they are, and we were somebody else in the past. It was me, but it's not me. Big difference. The person I was uh, in this life has killed, in past lives has killed. And to forgive that person, difficult. Difficult. But you have to remember, if it hurts you to remember it, this thing someone did, this thing you did, this past self, then you're already in the same place as redemption and forgiveness. You just have to accept it. And people say, I can't forgive, can't do it. Too horrible, just too traumatic, can't forgive. Okay. Why? Many people say, well, what they did is too horrific, that horrible person. Can't forgive them. Okay. What about for you? Maybe don't do it for them. Maybe do it for you. Right? Maybe now you can do it for you. Maybe later you can do it for them. Because obviously the compassionate and the kind person is going to forgive them for them. But this stuff many times starts at home, inside us. And we need to be able to have that forgiveness and redemption. And I'm not going to tell you that I woke up yesterday and forgave myself all of a sudden. It was a long process. Long process. It started with forgiving other people in my case. and myself, but my focus was other people. That's what I was paying attention to. But I was really doing both. And maybe you'll be doing the same thing. Now, what can you forgive? You can forgive anything. Does that mean the person's off the hook? What do you think? Let me put it in terms of you. You go out, you shoot someone's child. Horrible. Horrible. Some would say unforgivable, right? Now let's say that person forgives you. Does that mean you can forgive yourself? Maybe, maybe not. Are you off the hook? Do you not have consequences? Oh, don't believe that. Don't believe that. Forgiveness is not a free ticket. Does it put you on the path? Sure. You got to walk. You still got to get there. Stuff's going to happen on the way. And oftentimes, it's not pretty. I hope you're not of this disillusionment that, you know, becoming more aware, fixing your life, figuring things out, it's all going to be pleasant. It's going to be a sweet ride. It's going to be like walking around at a carnival or something, a party. No. Sometimes it's going to be downright hard. Sometimes it's going to be downright distressing. Change can be hugely distressing, uncomfortable, disturbing. So take it easy, take it slow. But you kill that child, let's say you go to court and the parents forgive you. You think the judge is going to go, you know what? That's okay now. Just go home. It's all right then. They forgave you, whatever. No. You're still going to have those consequences. And don't think for a minute, right, that karma's not going to find you, that that's not put into your karma. You're going to pay the bill when it comes due. And it always comes due. No mistake. Always. But look on the other side too. The great deeds you do, the things that urge you to act in compassion, kindness, this intention, it's also added to your karma. And that bill's going to come due and you get paid. So hey, it's an equilateral system. And so it's not so much about some entity out there watching you and deciding to punish you because you've done some horrible thing and you're not sorry. Or you are sorry. It's about people make bad choices. People have delusion. And they walk their way towards enlightenment, towards the light. So it's not going to happen overnight. Patient, patient, patient. I always say that. Now, I'm also going to advise meditation, because you can ponder a subject. Well, to begin with, you're probably only going to be able to do it for about 2 minutes at a time, but you get better at it. You can go a whole 10 minutes and have a nice little session. You know, as you get more practiced at it, you can go a half hour. Not a problem. You could go for hours if you wanted to. I'm not a fan of that for any type of meditation, hours of meditation for the average person. I just think that's way beyond productive. It's beyond the bounds and becomes unproductive, unwise, not good for anybody. But you can ponder this single issue and really gain some clarity. And I don't know what meditation practice you have, or if you have any, but with redemption and forgiveness, I'd really be not covering it if I didn't mention meditation. And Just a suggestion, you do it as you like. Remember, meditation is not some mystical thing that only awake people can do. This is a thing everybody does. It's a natural thing. It just happens. It's part of the human condition is meditation. Now, it might only be for a minute. You might zone out at work, and you might even go into dream state because you've gone too far. But it happens. And you can ponder an issue. You can have a morning meditation, before your day really starts, and look at yesterday. You're still in the now, but you're looking back at yesterday. You're running through it. You're looking at it now. Hindsight, very important sometimes. Or maybe you're looking at some past event and looking at it with a different frame of mind, different perspective. Maybe you, in the evening or the noon or whatever, you have a meditation session and you're just doing silence, or you're watching breath. So that'd be 2 sessions. One of them, you'd look at the past, you'd look at the present, you'd look at the future. Maybe you just did one of those. I don't know. But that's certainly something that works for me, is a looking, an awareness, and also a quietness, a going to a place of refuge that's completely quiet. Nothing can touch you. It's warm, it's quiet, serene, powerful. From that place, I feel like I could do anything. Anything. And if you don't have that, I want you to have it. And you're not going to pick it up today because you just started meditating today. I have no doubt that that's the case. Once again, things take time. You get on the road. Just getting on the road is a big deal. So if you meditated, let's say 10 minutes a day, regular, a certain time a day, maybe you miss it every once in a while, but no big deal. It's your practice. It's part of your life practice. It's going to help immensely with all of these things like redemption and forgiveness, understanding different sutta, the messages in there. Buddha knew it was a process. He says this many times, but people don't seem to catch on. Where in a sutta he'll mention that you're gonna work on this and understand it later. He doesn't even expect you to understand it when he says it. When you read it, when someone tells you, he expects that it's going to be a process. And in some of these sutta, there's so many aspects. The Prince and the Young Boy, that particular sutta, it's a mid-length discourse. It's not one of the short ones. And it has, I'd say 5 distinct layered messages in there that really go together. So please don't look into the sutta and just read something, go, you know what, I got it, whatever, and just move on. Come back to it later, or really think about what you heard. Maybe listen to some talks. Okay, I don't want to make this too long, so I'm gonna cut it a little short. I didn't announce this or anything. I see I have a person live there. If you have any questions or anything, I'd be happy to talk on whatever for just a couple of minutes here at the end. While you're thinking if you have a question or not, I'll mention that these are just talks. I don't actually have any bullet points or scripts or any of this business, and I really think it is able to come across more honest and genuine that way. I see these talks, and as you notice, it's not my face. You're not watching my face talk to you about this. I don't know. It's just not me. I'm not going to say it's just self-interested that these people do this. I don't know that. But I don't enjoy just watching somebody's face as they go through. So I give you the nice background here, the altar there with the Buddha. And it's not about me anyway. It's about the message. And so I want to deliver it to everybody who hears this. It's digital, so, who knows how long this video will live. Could live for thousands of years. Who would know? So I want it to be genuine, and I don't want to distract you. I want you to be able to concentrate. I want to cover it as well as I can. And I hope I've done that for you today. Of course, in other talks, I touch on these things. I hope that this concentration of it helps you. I'm hoping that truth will remove delusion in your life the way light removes darkness. All right. Well, I want to thank you for listening today. Have a great day.